Why is Russia invading Ukraine? And why is Vladimir Putin so obsessed with Ukraine? Do you know that there was a time where Ukraine was under Russian rule? In 1900s, both countries were part of the Soviet Union. Russia was the most powerful, followed by Ukraine, second most powerful. But right after World War II, NATO was born as an alliance against the Soviet Union, which had massive army and great influence. Now, NATO agreed that an attack on one or more of them in Europe and in North America shall be considered as an attack against them all because they feared the Soviet Union might attack. But then, the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991 without attacking any country, and so NATO did not have to fight. And it was that period Ukraine became independent. So, with Soviet Union no more, there is no need for NATO and its expansion, right? In early 1990, the US promised they were not going to expand NATO not even 1 inch eastward. However, NATO expanded as far as to absorb countries that were formerly part of the Soviet Union of Eastern Europe. The Russians felt they were tricked and betrayed by the US. And this explains why relations between Russia and the West are the way they are today. Now, in 2007, the US and other NATO countries wanted Ukraine to be part of NATO. And don't forget, Ukraine is just close to Russia. This probably made Russia to invade Crimea in 2014, which was back then a part of Ukraine, though historically it has been a part of Russia. And now Russia has naval base in Crimea. Even after Russia's invasion of Crimea, Ukraine did not join NATO because Germany and France said no. So then, why is Putin so obsessed with Ukraine? You see, right after the invasion of Crimea by Russia, the US has become an ally of Ukraine, providing about 90% of Ukraine's military aid. From Russia's point of view, having Ukraine as an American ally without being in NATO is just as bad as having Ukraine in NATO, because sooner or later, having US as an ally, Ukraine's political and legal systems will be improved and eventually be part of NATO. But Putin wants NATO to stop expanding. Obviously, if Ukraine is in NATO and Crimea is part of Ukraine, you know, NATO is not going to tolerate a Russian naval base on NATO territory. Sooner or later, NATO is going to say to Russia, get out. And this would mean Russia fought for nothing.